Welcome back to Odyssey Astrology. In this video we're going to talk about the planet Mercury. So Mercury was represented by Hermes in Greek mythology. Hermes was the messenger of the gods. He's the person who is always relaying messages from Zeus, the father, to whoever, humans, gods. He's shuttling messages back and forth to battlefields or to children of Zeus or to people who Zeus just needs to communicate with, or even he can be communicating messages from other gods too, but he's always communicating. And he also is connected to healing as well. And the two signs ruled by Mercury are Gemini, which is the masculine side, the air sign, and Virgo, the earth sign, which is the feminine side. And so Gemini, I think, is more accurately depicted by Hermes himself, who is a young man. Mercury is often considered to be somewhat androgynous. People who have really strong mercurial qualities can be beautiful, but they don't look very strongly masculine or feminine. So people who have, especially with Gemini, I would say, people who have really strong Gemini energy can be somewhat androgynous, and really gifted with communication a lot of times, or even with healing. And Gemini is curious. Gemini is always wanting to learn and explore and taste and read and talk and meet people. Its downfall can be a little bit of shallowness, but on the upside it can absorb a lot of information and it can connect people. It's very connective. And then on the flip side you've got Virgo, which is more withdrawn. Its representation is as a virgin goddess. Like in Greek mythology, we could sort of think of it as Artemis, which is a virgin goddess. No one ever saw her naked, and when someone did, they died. And it doesn't have to be that dramatic, but it gives us some idea into the personality of the sign. And Virgo also has a strong association with healing energy. It can be sort of shy and withdrawn, but it has very positive, deep qualities. Because it's also so sensitive, it can have a fragile constitution, but it's very different from the sort of exuberant, curious, highly active side, which is represented by Gemini. And so when we think of Mercury, it's good to remember that there's multiple sides to it, and depending on what sign it is, these different qualities come out. It's not always this bubbly personality, which is more associated with Gemini. It can also be withdrawn and more inner, which we see with Virgo. And Mercury is friends with Saturn and with Venus. And so what Mercury needs a lot of times is focus, which is provided by Saturn. But it becomes so associated with information, it needs some sort of grace and beauty to turn that information into something that's poetic or something that people can benefit from. Otherwise it can get kind of dry, especially I think in Gemini and Virgo. It's interesting to note that in our day and age, Mercury is especially important because with the emphasis on technology and computer programming, these are all mercurial activities. And so a lot of programmers, for example, have strong Virgo energy because it's organized and clean, and it's sort of dry and calculative. And so Mercury benefits also from Venus because it adds a dimension of beauty and grace into its experience of life, which otherwise can be somewhat dry, especially if it becomes channeled into information technology, which a lot of strong Mercury people are involved in nowadays.